Hey everyone, Shawn Clement here, Wisdom in Golf, just back from the Mexico Open with Savannah. And today is a very, very important video where you're going to understand why width is what makes or breaks any golf swing. Whether you have a flat swing or an upright swing, you will realize that if you don't have width, you don't have performance. This is a very key video. You really want to stay with us. But before we continue, I know that you're going to really appreciate the content in here, so please subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment or question down below. Ring that notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos, because you'll realize the content in here is the real deal, okay? So see you right away. So, man, Sav and I have so much to unpack. We just got back late yesterday, and I needed to get this done for you this morning so that you could really enjoy practicing the stuff that you need to practice on this week. So right out of the gate, let's look at Jon Rahm's swing and why it's, you know, the things that he does is so instrumental in the win that he just had. And by the way, did you hear his press conference? He's focused way more on target, way less on technique, and he's back, right? So wide in the backswing, if you look at immediately in his takeaway, face on, look at how wide his hands are from his body in his takeaway. So we're looking at very wide in the backswing, and there is basically the end of his backswing. He's giving himself some momentum heading in there, and you'll notice that as he reaches this point, he's already in his transition. In his mind, he's over here, not over here, there. So we're taking that and we're sending it out there towards the target. So as he's approaching the ball, look at how solid that looks coming into impact here. Collecting the ball from where it lies, sitting on that tee, and then releasing it in the direction that he wants to start the ball. So yes, he tends to hit, his bread and butter shot is that nice power fade. Starts it down the left side and brings it back to the center of the fairway. And it was such a pleasure watching him perform these golf shots. So from down the line, notice how solid that posture looks and how imposing he looks over the ball. And here's the real secret. So we talk about how you want to flatten or shallow out your downswing. Jon Rahm does that in his backswing in preparation to send it to the target. This is what a lot of people miss, because, you know, the swing is, it seems to be short, it seems to be, you know, fast, but in actuality, it's very wide and it's extremely powerful because that kinetic chain consistently engages, okay? So kinetic chain is basically what your body uses when you want to throw something. The first thing that your brain's going to do is go to the ground, get the ground, and then use the ground to get the body out of the way. In so doing, everything drops back. Notice how the elbow leads the hand leads the fingers, and the release of energy is over here. We're not spiking the football, we're delivering the football downfield. That's what Jon Rahm is doing. So we are collecting the ball from here and releasing the ball there, and you can see it right here from down the line. Collecting the ball from over here and releasing it into that target. And because his attention is so intense on that target, then you'll notice that in the initial takeaway, as he's taking it back, the club is already flattening. It's already getting ready to go in the direction of the target. So if we look at a longer swing, like Bubba Watson or Bill Haas, beautiful golf swing, by the way, that we'll be showing you later on. So, make sure you subscribe to the channel. One of the best swings out there. So when I take it back wide, fold, hinge a little later, and I start to get a little, that flyaway elbow because I'm getting ready to throw. So when I'm throwing, see, my elbow is moving away from my body, but when the kinetic chain engages, everything flattens out because I'm getting ready to take the ball from here and deliver it in that direction out there. So my swing flattens out extremely well. So take away. Hear that nice sound? That ball was extremely well compressed. So what you see in my swing is a deep flattening in that downswing because I'm going out there to the target. If my desire is to hit the ball, then that is what's going to be my downswing. So for those of you who are coming down steep on the ball, well, no need to look any further than your focus. Your focus is on the ball. So if I'm a lumberjack and I want to split wood, this is how I split wood. If I'm a lumberjack and I want to chop down a tree, then that is where I'm going with my axe. So we've got John Rahm, the lumberjack, that has a very efficient motion going in that direction. There's no way I could swing the club like John because I'm just not strong enough. So that imposing figure can deliver a nice, efficient, crisp, compact swing that's very wide, but very target-oriented. Moving picture. That was Jack Nicklaus's forte. He says, I'm sending the ball into that picture that's going to take me into where I want that ball to end up, the target, the end target. So extremely important for you to understand. Now, here's a nice drill that's going to help you develop width in your swing. So you're going to take the sword, right? Imagine I've got a sword right here. So I'm going to hold it right at the base of the shaft, above the club head, and I'm going to get ready, engage your quads and your glutes. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn the whole backside to the target. Recognize that position? There's John Rahm right there. So this is what you need to do. So we gather some nice width, and we use that width to slash through that bamboo shoot. Gather wide, slash wide. Same thing here. Gather wide, so notice how everything's out in front of me. Recognize there? And then slash wide. So that's a fantastic drill, not just to gather the range of motion and width that you need. Also, when you're slashing, you'll realize that you're engaging that kinetic chain extremely well. This, in our premium channel, is called the lead hand release. So be careful on the way through that you allow that to release properly so that you don't, injure or hurt your shoulder on the other side. So if I do it towards you, gather wide, see how my hand released. Notice the elbow kicks down and it allows the sword to release your anatomy and rehinges on the other side. So we got this nice release on the other side that allows the club to spit the ball in the direction of the target. So I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for the part 2 of this video where Sav and I go through from the 15th to the 18th and show you why this is a course for the long hitters. We predicted that Jon Rahm or Tony Finau or Cameron Champ would have won the event, and weren't all three right there at the top for this particular event. And when you see how I analyzed the holes on those 4 holes, there were other very pivotal holes like number 8, but you'll really get the gist when you see these, and you'll hear the wind. The prevailing wind was always up in the afternoon, and you'll see why this is such a beast of a golf course, not just for length, but for the prevailing winds as well. So, see you in a bit. Hey guys, we got Jon Rahm and Tony Finau. 14 is going to be a beast into the wind. So that's a nice par 5. Let's see what they're going to be hitting into the green. So Finau and Jon Rahm just hit their tee shots. They still got 275 into the wind on this par 5. So 14 is not going to be a pivotal hole. It's going to be like, make sure you get a par or try to make a solid birdie. And then 15, that's going to be the teller. 40 yards out. Here's Tony with his little pitch. See that right there for birdie? He's about 25 feet away. So another reason why you don't want to attack this green in 2, even if you could, look at the water on the right-hand side. So if you're coming in with a fairway wood, this is not really accurate. You could be in those bunkers down the left-hand side, have a long bunker shot, or worse, be in the water. So you want to be laying up here about 40, 50 yards out. You'll have an easy pitch into the wind. The greens are very receptive, and that'll be your best chance at birdie on this hole. So both Tony and Jon Rahm held back with a 3-wood. They're both on the green. Jon Rahm just threw a dart in there. So 3-wood is actually, if you're a long hitter, you don't want to be in that bunker. Everybody's avoiding it. Everybody's been talking about that bunker. And notice how every one of those guys has a GC quad, and they're comparing what it would normally be stock for this particular distance and how much the wind is affecting that shot. So very important information from Foresight Sports. Cool little tidbit. Notice Jon Rahm just hit a wedge shot on the other side of the bunker, which tells me that at one point they're going to be playing the tee boxes up on this hole, and they're going to be, that's why he's practicing hitting a little wedge in there. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand about the PGA Tour, yeah, they're playing a long 7,500 yard course, but they're not playing it back on every hole. They're giving it some variety, some breathing room. And that's what you want out of a long course. You want to have the option to play like a nice 7,100 yard, well-balanced golf course. Ready? So look at this, you guys. Look at this. Par 4, 505, into the wind. Whoa. Bunker down the left-hand side. The first bunker to carry is 275. And then the last one's 350. Obviously, that's not play. So you see where the guys are right now. That's where everybody's going to be putting their golf balls. But at 500 yards, they're going to be coming in with anywhere from a 4-iron to a 3-wood. This is a big hole. This is going to be an important par down the stretch, especially after you make birdie on number 15, possibly on number 14. So you got to protect your score on this hole right here. See why Jon Rahm loves to play with Tony Finau. They have such a similar game. Their flight and the amount of curvature on this hole was like 2 twins. So they just nutted their drives off the tee here. They still have 230
into this green. So it's elevated, it's windy, and it's really well protected. So, man, this is a big beast of a hole. You'll pan to the hole.
Yeah.
Guys, look at this. 226 par 3 into the prevailing wind. Look at this hole. That is a beast. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this on TV. It's going to be phenomenal. All right, so everyone hit fairway wood or driving iron or hybrid off that tee, and they're all short. John Rahm hit an iron and pulled it left. Maybe he would have been pin high, but still it was a pull to the left. So very, very difficult hole. And I'm sure they're all hoping that it's going to be several different tee boxes and that they only have to hit from that spot one day out of the 4. Okay, awesome finishing hole. 548 downwind par 5. This is it. If you're behind, you got to go for it. So it's going to be some really awesome attacking shots going into this green, and that'll make for great television. Can't wait. There's a bunker down the left-hand side, a very long fairway bunker that's at 309. So you just want to just stay out of that bunker off the driver. It's a fade hole. There's a tree, a big tree, a parota tree down the right-hand side. So you want to stay away from that thing. But you could still knock one under those branches because they're like the trees from Avatar. They're really incredible. So this is going to be like driver 2, maybe anywhere between 5 iron and a 2 hybrid. So this is the parota tree I was telling you about. Isn't it magnificent? The beginning of the bunker right there is 309. So there's one right next to it. But somebody's out there, way up there at the 325, 330 mark. So downwind, this is gonna be fun. So you notice here's where cleaning up for that birdie is gonna be important. Everyone's hitting very interesting shots over bunkers to tuck pins that are gonna be around this hole. So you look at Tony Finau, he's going around the green right now looking for possible pin positions. And they got to get up and down. So there's John Rahm hitting a chip shot from there. So if they're long and they hit the grandstands, they're going to be pitching from those areas back onto the green. So really fun scenario.